This is a general overview of the JobBoss ACH 3.0 system. We're going to hit some highlights of the basic functionality of it and what it does, and just kind of show you what you can do with this to make your life easier in the JobBoss world. You'll notice it does have login security, so you can determine which users can and cannot open the JobBoss ACH. You do this by adding users to the JobBoss ACH system. This is not your JobBoss login, doesn't have anything to do with that, but it does include user security. So we're going to log in. You notice it's got an auto update feature. We're looking for updates now. This is what you would see if there was an update. Now, we're not going to update this system right now, but every time we open this thing up, we're going to see, hey, there's an update available. Should we go ahead and do that? There's several setup features in here. This basically just sets up the basics of the system. One of the main things this utility does is create a text document that we are going to upload to your bank's web portal. And we have to tell it where to put it. So there's a couple of settings in here we can define for things we need to do. For example, we can tell it to always add a certain number of days to our current date. A lot of times your bank will not allow you to do same day processing, so you have to tell it to add maybe a day or so to it. Some other information here: populate 8 invoices immediately, ACH immediately. We can talk about that. You can customize it to your liking if you want different themes or whatnot. This is what tells it to go ahead and check for other updates. And then this other setting here, some banks do what are known as FIS payments, and if so, you would check this box. That would be rare. For the most part, you're not going to set that up at all. One of the other things the ACH does is it creates vendor remittance emails that you can send out to your vendors. And this is a template that would be used perhaps to fill out that email at runtime. You'll notice this here, this is what I call a token. At runtime, that will be replaced by, of course, your vendor name. This will be replaced, for example, by the ACH date and so forth and so on. So it will customize it for each vendor. It shows them all the invoices that were paid down here by the use of this invoice table token. It'll include a nicely formatted table that will show them each invoice that was paid, how much of it was paid, and of course the checks that were used to pay it. This is a full-featured email system that can be used to fully format whatever kind of email you want to send out to them. Okay, you've also got email account set up here. You've also got this kind of tells the ACH system how to connect to your email system. The ACH does not use your local email client and instead connects directly to your SMTP server. It's also got a log feature that can kind of keep track of the things that have happened in the system. It can kind of tell you, what check was created, when it was created, so forth and so on. A lot like the JobBoss report function, you can use this to kind of track down what's happened in the ACH. Here's where we talked about the users. You can add different users that have different types of different types of users, like an administrator user, a standard user, a read-only user. So you can give different users different roles to play in here. You'll add banks to this. Now the banks must exist in JobBoss first, and then you go through and add all this information, the account number, routing number, and so forth and so on. JobBoss does not capture enough information to fully create the ACH document, which is the reason why we have this. All this information, by the way, is stored encrypted in your SQL Server database, so it's very robust, very secure. Here's where we add vendors. Again, the JobBoss system does not have enough information in there to create an ACH document, so we have to capture more information from that, the account number, the routing number, account type, things of that nature. We also have to tell it where we want to send out emails. You'll notice we can send to multiple different people, different contacts if we want to. Now, these contacts must exist in JobBoss along with this default vendor email, but we can just tell it where we want it to go. You can also notice there's a way to use international payments. So if you have vendors based in Mexico or Canada, you can use this system to pay them as well. And that's the basic setup of it. The actual usage of it, there's really two major sections of usage. One is vendor payments. And for example, this is a vendor payment. These are all the open posted invoices for any vendor that you've added to the JobBoss system. So you would add an invoice for the vendor, you would post that vendor, and assuming you'd set up that vendor in JobBoss, the invoices would appear here. You'll select the items you want to pay. Let's just select a handful of these here. You can create remittance reports for this, or payment reports. If you wanted to create this report and say, hey, I want to pay these invoices today, you could print these out, or you could export them to PDF. A lot of people use this to kind of get a manager's approval on it to say, here, I want to pay these items. Can I do that? And you can use that. You can also save these items as a batch. Basically, adding a batch does nothing more than just saves these as all as one, so you can quickly, easily get back to them later. You can do whatever you want to with them. We'll save this. It tells you the batch was created. You can always refer back to that batch, and here's the one we just created right here. Those are the 4 items we just had there. Now, if I want to make a vendor payment, what I would do is select my payment date. I'd select the bank I want to use. I'm going to select US Bank, and this is my starting check number. The ACH utility will keep track of that starting check number, so in this case we would create 3 different checks, one for each vendor. So we would create check number 059, 060, and 061. There's some other options here to kind of tailor the system the way you want it, but when we're ready to make payments, we just click Create Vendor Payments. It's going to churn away for a minute, and it's going to tell us that the vendor payments were created. Now what that's done is it's actually created checks in JobBoss, just like you created them. If you went to that check register, you selected those 4 invoices, and you said to go ahead and print these checks out. It would have created 3 checks for you. It would have printed them out, and you'd be ready to sign them and move them along the way, okay? But that's what this process does. And then ACH processing, essentially, let's change our dates here. These were the 3 checks we just created, 59, 60, and 61. So these checks exist in JobBoss, but it's just like if a check were sitting on your desk, they have not been sent to the vendor yet. What we have to do now is select these 3 items and create our ACH document. We can also add a batch if we need to. That's entirely up to you. But you could do that if you need to. A lot of people use that feature, some do, some don't, but it's entirely up to you. But we set our date. You'll notice it's set for the 21st because I told it I wanted to add 2 days to it, so it always adds 2 days. I can always set that date to whatever I want to set it to. Just it doesn't matter, whatever you want to set it to, you'll be fine. But you're ready to create your ACH document. We can do this. Tell it to create the ACH document. I'll show you what it looks like. This is an ACH document. This is the 94-byte format for US-based transactions. This has an offset line and a balance line, so you can see you can do different formats with it. But we're ready now to send that, and also this did create our payment report too, our remittance report. This is what essentially your vendors would get. Okay, so we take that document, process it up to our bank, and then when we're sure that our bank's going to take it and process it, we can then send our vendor emails out. So if we do that, we click Send Vendor Emails, and it's going to create the emails, connect to our server, and send them out to our server. And let me see if I can find an example of the ACH. There we go. Here's one here. See if I can open this up. So here's an example of some of an ACH remittance email. You'll see it substituted that ACH name for the name of the company, the date, the total, the 2 invoices that were paid. Here's another one, the date, the total, the 2 invoices that were paid, and so forth and so on. So it gives your vendor an idea. It tells them exactly what was paid, when it was paid, how much was paid. If there were a discount, that will be included in there as well. But that's the basic operation of the ACH utility. The purchase of the ACH does come with a full 1 hour of training, which is usually more than sufficient to train your people on. But if you're interested in it, just give your JobBoss person a call, and they will direct you to me. Thank you very much.